Analysis of Wedding by the Cross. Wedding by the Cross is a third person narration, which is known because of the way the narrator talks about the lead character, X. Page 105, line 1. He, the successful timber merchant. It is a restricted story because sometimes the narrator knows everything about the story. X, page 112, line 1 to 3, but questions as to why the black people were not employed did not trouble him. The narrator knows about the character's inner feelings, but sometimes he does not know everything. We see that at page 112, line 23 to 24. What was the secret of the mass success, he asked. The narration mode is description slash story because the narrator speaks of the characters and story as it happened some time ago. We see that at page 113, line 11. Soon his choice started to bear fruit. Setting. The settings are significant for this understanding of the characters and plot. The story takes place in the cities of Kenya, Bahiti, and Limuru. And there are two different settings. One post of the Civil War and one is after the Civil War. The first setting is where Variku is a poor man and runs away from the Miarmu, where the struggle for money and food. He travels around the country for work and returns home in between to produce and here then he goes to the World War II with the white people page. We see that at page 111, line 8 to 9. He fought in Egypt, Palestine, Burma, and Madagascar. Then he returns home and he has changed over the war. He tries to make a living by reselling pencils in the bazaar after the war. We see that at page 113 at line 10. It starts to change and leading by lending money by the regime and starts his own business. Then he goes to a lot of churches, and he adopts a new personality with the newly found money. He then changes his name to a European name called Dodge Livingstone Jr. to be exact. We see that at page 121, line 3. No, I cannot marry Livingstone because I have married him before. I'm married to a Vayuka and he is dead, which tells that Livingstone / the Vayuka have gone from the poor setting and back to social environment to the rich setting and richer environment, which changed him so much that the Miyamu thinks of him as dead. Characters. All the characters are described indirectly by their actions and what they say to each other. Ex-Miyamu likes Vayaku because every Sunday afternoon she would stand and worship him dancing in the square. We see that at page 106, line 16 to 20. Dodge Livingstone Jr. or Vayuku is the main character and a dynamic character who goes from being poor to being a rich man, wants to live like the Europeans. Doesn't have a lot of resources. He lives for 30 shillings a month, which is not very much. We see that at page 105, line 10. He gets 2 kids with his wife, Vayuku. Careless after the Civil War, cooperates with the regime to earn money and start his own business. We see that at page 113, line 9. Senior elder at the church and donates a lot of money to the church. He cares about what other people think of him. And when he buys a Mercedes-Benz 220S, we see that at page 117, line 24. Miyamu ran away with the Dodge Vayuku. We see that at page 110, line 20. Wife to Vayuku / Livingstone. 2 children does not want to marry Livingstone again in the church because he has changed too much from his true self. We see that at page 121, last lines of line 3. He enjoys working and enjoys the simpler times. Every Sunday afternoon, she will find an opportunity to shop at the square. She also want to shop. She also went to the church every Sunday. Composition. The story starts with a flash forward, where we are told about the marriage and now a happy couple. They are on line 12. I meant. It starts in medias res because we are not introduced into the story, but we are just thrown straight into it, straight into the action. We are left at an open ending. We are not told about how Livingstone handles Miyamo's declining at the altar, which is typical for the genre of short stories. Therefore, it's up to the reader to figure a suitable ending. Language and style. The language is hard sometimes because the vocabulary. We see that on page 115, second last line. Shamba, which is the traditional African word for a piece of cultivated land/ground. And the order of the vocabulary is sometimes changed around. It suits the African way of speaking. We see that at page 115, line 24. Need she dirty her hands now? This social act is all part of making the text more authentic. Theme and message. The title gives the reader a heads up before about what the text is about. The theme is how money and power can turn the best people into someone else, which you can see at different places in the text. For example, page 115, line 22, as she quotes, why would she not conduct herself like a Christian woman? Or page 114, line 22, where she says, the day he cast away Rairiku and became Dutch W. Livingstone Jr., which is an English name. Therefore, we can see how much he has changed and how it started to get the same personality as the Europeans by also becoming church senior elder. Page 116, 8th last line. The title is Wedding at the Cross, which tells us about a wedding in the Christian faith. At the beginning, but in the beginning, the Rairiku is not Christian, but it turns into a Christian. So the message of the text and the title might be that it's never too late to change up your life and start being devoted to a special faith or religion. The story also shows that any people can turn a full 180 on their culture and completely turn into a different person. Yes, that was the analysis of Wedding by the Cross.